it was the first time I had experienced what it probably meant to be Trinbagonian.
It felt good. It felt good. It gave me a sense of pride. This is where I came from.
Something inside of me saying, my God, I wish I could just be there.
Maybe like for here how we attack. Maybe like the dialect.
Ha! Oh, Mr. Fiddler! Oh, ha, ha! Woo!
If you are not made of raw iron and steel, you are going to be affected.
On August 30th, 1962, the Union Jack was lowered. And at the stroke of midnight, our own national flag, the red, white and black, was hoisted, a herald to Trinidad and Tobago's coming of age.
The first responsibility that devolves upon you is the protection and promotion of your democracy. Democracy means more, much more, than the right to vote. Democracy means equality of opportunity for all. Democracy means responsibility of the government to its citizens. Democracy means freedom of expression and assembly and organization. All that is democracy. All that is our democracy, to which I call upon all citizens to dedicate themselves on this our Independence Day. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
In the months following independence, post-colonial Trinidad and Tobago had been taken up in a wave of nation-building optimism and an emergence of self.
So we have all these diverse cultures having come from abroad. How do we now devise our own identity?
It was about building a nation. Yeah, this newly independent country, what does it mean for us to be independent? We are Africans, so we are Indians, so we are some Chinese, Syrian, Lebanese, so, right? How do I pull all of these people together?
And how do we all take all these different identities and weave it into one identity that makes us Trinidad and Tobago? And this is where you would have had the Best Village program coming into being and being developed over the years.
Not Best Village, Better Village.
The Prime Minister's Better Village Trophy Competition.
This is us. 7 continents, 2 tiny islands, and a wealth of cultural treasures hidden in the everyday rituals of the people.
In 1963, Dr. Williams embarked on a Meet the People tour.
Which started in the 60s. And I was part of that program from the very inception, where the late Dr. Eric Williams went around on a tour, what we call Meet the People Tour.
The Meet the People tour began in the southwestern tip of Trinidad in Icacus Village.
This house right here, behind your back, yeah. That I remember the gallery that he came and spoke to the people behind your back.
And geographically, you get an opportunity to see the different villages. And that by itself is an educational thing.
And every time he would go, they would sing, they would dance, they would cook.
They have talent to bun.
And each visit would have been scores of school children was welcomed at the schools. The children would be singing their national songs, God Bless Our Nation. Having just gained independence, of course, so you're very nationalistic and patriotic and you're waving your little red, white, and black flag.
West Village was created for three things: unite the communities, to unearth hidden talents, and to offer the unknown talented person a space to perform.
It's an opportunity to understand oneself, to understand the oral traditions, the indigenous traditions, and to discover the latent talent that comes out of the communities.
Creating space for traditional preservation and bringing communities together in a manner that required people to put their best foot forward, their best feet forward. I said foots, but the folk and oral law license gives me permission to say foots. And it is that confidence that Best Village has inspired in me to own my nationality, to own my history.
Competition. Best Village is about competing. Best Village is about youths coming together. It started with different categories. It was La Rennes, it was folk theatre, it was Village Olympics, which is VO, it was folk fair, it was handicraft, plenty different things.
When Dr. Williams went on his Meet the People tour, he realized that the people had skills.
It was each one teach one. Who can knit taught the next one. So they had these groups meetings and the people came from here. Now we have tutors going in to teach, you know.
Knowing that we did not have all the industries in all these various areas, he thought it would be a good idea to start the young girls and boys doing handicraft, because as cottage industry, it would be a means of employment, making a living for themselves.
As Joyce would attest, it was only the old women who were using their hands to crochet and make doilies and these things.
Because in those days, right, in the early 60s, the whole thing about handicraft was that it wasn't something for young people, girls or boys, but it was done by a small segment of the community in the villages, that is the aged or the disabled. Dr. Williams wanted to change that.
In the line of theory work, I was teaching all over the world, you know, making real money too. So, my boy does make all those things there. My son does do all that. But I train all children around here. You see all they come here today? And all they find me? Okay, that's the way. The children that know nothing here is the I want to know.
I go to the market on Saturdays and I meet so many different stakeholders and people who learn to make jewelry or make different fabrics and fashion and so on from the Best Village program, and that shows the kind of impact and the kind of role that Best Village has played in the development of our people and the development of our community. So what is Trinidad and Tobago without Prime Minister's Best Village competition or without Best Village activities? We wouldn't be who we are.
The very first competition was handicraft in 1963.
So Gowanus Women's Group 1.
Handicraft grew. With the advent of handicraft, the drag borders came into being.
The Drag Brothers is more than a well-known strip of professional leatherworks craftsmen. It has become a community space of sharing cultural knowledge. The competition grew in vision and scope under the direction of the late coordinator Joyce Wong-Sang.
If I knew Joyce Wong-Sang very, very, very well, the mistress of the Prime Minister's Best Village competition.
Wong-Sang at that time, the person who was running Best Village, they sent up 2 and 3 buses in the village.
A bus called the supporters bus. Whereas anybody from the community who's interested in coming to see and going to see your group perform, they're free. Just board the bus, drums going down the road, chant, singing, that kind of energy.
And we would load up the village, the buses, and with supporters and things. And it was a joy for me to go, even though I know I can't win, but it was a joy. And then after the Best Village finished, she used to send us in Hilton to do a little performance, and I used to like to go because I used to get food. I could eat about 7 plates, it doesn't matter. No, but it's not a joke, it's a serious thing I'm telling you, because we were so poor. When I see food, I had to eat for days. For the next 5 days to come, I was very poor.
Joyce Wong-Sang remained with the Best Village unit for most of her working life, shaping the direction and working with communities and policymakers to take the program from strength to strength.
She had a rapport with the community. They expected more from the officers. And because of that, sometimes it was found that she was hard or harsh. But if you're not doing your work, she has no patience with that. Mrs. Wong-Sang was an excellent administrator. And because of that, the program was very successful, extremely successful.
And she was always giving opportunities to the producers, the stage managers. Once she found you had the talent, she was willing to push you.
In City Hall, Wong-Sang had a room, right, that had instruments that a village could borrow, who want drums, who want they thief it out. They never carry it back for the woman. I sell any of bill and flatten the TV. They thief the people instruments. It had a room inside a day with one set of instruments. I see it with my own 2 white guitar, quattro drum, you name it. And if you were best, you could have go there and borrow one to help your group. Where all that gone?
Where all that gone? I will tell you where all the guitar and them gone. In people's house. Them same people and them you talking about, they never used to bring back the instruments and them. Boy, they used to thief it.
I used to borrow Wong-Sang guitar. I carry it back. Right? Oh, I want everybody to know I carry it back. Go get the key. I'm not a singer. Andy David, they call me the great quattro man. All the girls in the town want to lock me down.
We had a tiff, once, but that didn't prevent us from becoming friends. You want to know what happened? Well, Joyce Wong-Sang was a bossy lady. Well, maybe both of us are the same, so you can't tell me nothing and get away. We came from Tobago. I always say, and I will say it still, when you come from Tobago, you start at a disadvantage. So we went on to Best Village. We had a 6 o'clock show. That's Plymouth Village. Minister 6, no vehicle to bring our props to the savannah. When we eventually got in touch with Miss Wong-Sang, Joyce told my husband, what you all want props to do? And my husband, I think, went right down into Joyce's auntie and mommy, everybody, if you know what I mean. And till her death, we were such very good friends. We became very, very good friends. Yes, Miss Wong-Sang was a great lady, and I don't hear anybody talking about Wong-Sang. I didn't hear about the Wong-Sang this and the Wong-Sang Best Village competition or whatever. You must give her a name. Unsung hero, Joyce Wong-Sang.
Handicraft started off the Best Village competition, but one of the biggest highlights today is the folk fair. Food and folk fair started off as Farm and Food in 1966, encouraging citizens to eat local.
At the Hilton Hotel, Lady Hochoy tours the National Exhibition of Local Foods. Prominent on display are wines and beverages made from plums, oranges, and cashew, and ethnic favorites such as cassava bread, sweet potato pone, sancoch, arepas, and corn pastel.
It's a potpourri of people and things and food, and because you can't have Best Village without your food and your handicraft. So to me, Best Village is an opportunity to really showcase what is and what's considered grassroots culture.
Best Village gave the communities the chance to showcase the traditions they had inherited, to learn more about other towns and villages.
Folk fair was something we look forward to every year. Those who didn't have an income made an income. We look forward to sharing recipes, tasting other products made by other villages. Folk fair, you learn to share.
No matter what time of the year it was placed on the calendar, there was rain. We always had to do our Sundance. Mon Diablo, Sundance. And we did an actual Sundance for the sun to come out, and it would rain. And it would rain, and it would rain. So rain became a part of the folk fair.
What I love about folk fair is the excitement of, getting ready the day before preparation, and the time we have to wake on a morning. We had to reach down there for we had to leave up at all 3 o'clock in the morning to reach there for 5 o'clock.
You're targeting, I know some people targeting, Michael, I remain hungry because I come in for that roti by Tanti Who. They're buying pulori wherever, they're buying crab and dumpling. And I know for sure we could give Tobago a lot of competition for crab and dumpling.
Tap your bow, Mr. Fiddler. Oh, ha, ha. Woo! Best Village Tory self, we come to take down from the shelf.
The buzz at the Tobago booths for any Best Village used to be really fantastic.
And come see the people gather to celebrate their community and their culture. Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
So when they hear Pembroke coming down, it will see how much people would line off by the 10th first. But when they hear about Concolte, they did not know what you call Concolte. Concolte is the cassava cocoa. So when I tell them, I say Concolte, how? When they taste it, well, that's where I had the rush.
We used to have real long line, people waiting behind each other, waiting for this lovely crayfish and this cocoa and fish locally. And there were people that will come across and ask us, how you prepare that, especially Tobago more into crab. And I remember well, there was a day that they came across one of them from the kitchen, and they were talking about it. They said they never knew that people could have cooked that, and that could have been a good delicacy. I think we taught them that. So we're the first person in Wampanoags village that really exposed that kind of, that dish.
Drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
And I think Tobago was the first village to carry an oven made of curry, a dirt oven into the savannah, a mobile oven. And there was a rush and a lineup for bread coming out of that oven. So there was always an eagerness to have the food and to taste what they had to offer. But even at the time when Tobago produced excellent villages, that used to be a packed savannah to the Tobago villages. They and maybe they like for here we attack. They maybe like the dialect. You understand? Some of them didn't even understand what we were saying, but they just went to, hey, something different.
We village, we home, so we must come back to win all. So drag your bow, Mr. Fiddler.
Best Village is more than a competition or a program for cultural expression. It is a universe where the citizens lay claim to their power.
For me, Best Village is about resistance. It's also about inspiration, inspiring the young ones. Lest they forget, we must never forget keeping that African heritage alive and well, that Indian heritage alive and well. And I think that it brings to life or celebrates the legacy that Dr. Eric Williams had intended to create or to leave by showing us that there is beauty in our differences.
Best Village has been a place where I can search and find and be wrong and be corrected and sit at the feet of the elders and be around people that are 4 times my age and be around people who I am 4 or 5 times their age. That is the dynamic of the Best Village.
It's not Best Village. I performed in Best Village over the years, and believe me, through Best Village, I have taught the world. Because I never knew that I could dance, sing, or act, or even write a play. But Best Village, being in my community, gave me that motivation.
So every single village must have some activity that will cause them to think differently and grow up the children in a different way. We talk about it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise big people too.
There is no right or wrong answer, no matter how many brackets you lay out, that could define what is a Best Village because of its subjectivity, because for many people, Best Village means something else.
Becoming Minister of Sport and Community Development or having the responsibility for Best Village, I always knew that it was and still is something that is very important to our identity and our dignity as human beings, as Trinbagonians.
Think about communities where young men and young women who don't have anything to do within a break period. Think about these same young people picking up a gun and going out there just to pass that time, rather than having your community center lit up with drums.
Best Village touched my life. It wasn't just a touch, it was a shrug, a push, a trample. But sometimes in life, when you get pushed down and you want to get up and you want to complain, it's because someone saw a bullet coming and they assisted you in not being killed. Now I have people I could communicate with. Sometimes I just a smile in Best Village to someone else and you just had a whole conversation there. For the 25 years that I've been doing it, that's why I say culture saves.
They don't understand the powers of Best Village. Best Village could help save Trinidad and Tobago.
Best Village is everybody. When a community council or a group start or running in a village, it's everybody in the community, because you're pulling in somebody here to do a dance, you're pulling in somebody here to come and help sing, you're having a little fundraiser, so you're pulling in somebody to help cook our food. And especially, of course, is plenty of the youth as well. By the end of it, you end up with family, yeah? But it's families that start to form that family.
The first 3 rows in Grandstand on Best Village were hecklers. And if you get away from that, well, God bless you.
Best Village was a family and is a mother and father to all of the ethnic disciplines and communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
The drums was amazing. The energies in that space was amazing.
Best Village, I sum it up as what is culture. Best Village is the way of life of a people, first up.
Taking part in Best Village is a beautiful thing, like a living thing, especially for a community who's taking part in it for the first time, because you're sort of awakening the community.
I think I was about 15 15 years of age when I encountered Best Village, and it was definitely a culture shock for me. I didn't know that these things existed.
Oh, Mama, water, give me some, and then you see me going down. It's not going.
They were practicing for Best Village competition, and the drums were going and they were doing bamboo dancing and all of that stuff, and I was so amazed. I was like, I want to do this. I'm about 7.
If it wasn't Best Village, we wouldn't have the Marshall Matano and the singing Sandra and all these people. And don't talk about the golden voice Daisy was there. So much years, people trying to be sung like her. Never. She came from Best Village.
The Best Village story has been a story of community vision, extraordinary talent, and a preserver of Trinidad and Tobago's culture and folk traditions. This is where generations come together to exchange ideas and celebrate our rich heritage. This is where we see all young people flourish. It takes a village to protect our heritage. I encourage you to be a part of the Prime Minister's Best Village Experience. For more information, please visit the ministry's website at mscd.gov.tt or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube for updates on Best Village activities. I am Shamfa Ashaki Kajo, your Minister of Sport and Community Development.